Mediocre Rumble Brothers. 2, 1.
All right, welcome to Mediocre Rumble Brothers. I'm Jordan, your host, and the team, Corey, Edwin, and Udon. Today we'll be chatting about the new online video game, Marvel Rivals. But before we start, please be sure to follow us on the Spotify channel and like and subscribe on our YouTube channel to stay up to date with our upcoming episodes. It really helps us out. Let's go ahead and get started by going around with what we did for the week. Corey?
I have been playing our game of the month for this month, which happens to be Sonic Adventure 2. So I got my GameCube out and everything, and sat down and gave that a whack. And I'm halfway through the villains storyline. I think it'll be funny to talk about this game, just in general. But because Shadow is coming to theaters here, we kind of wanted to play around where he came from. So. That and then trying Marvel Rivals, getting some updates, watch the Game Awards, and I found Eternal Darkness and on GameCube, so I have that now to play, which is a pretty cool, obscure horror game on GameCube, and it's only on GameCube, so kind of happy to find it. So I'll give that a go and get some recordings, but maybe not for this video, because this video is all about Rivals, so I'll pass it to Edwin.
So besides the last time that we did an episode, it was for Mario and Luigi Brothership. I still haven't finished it, but I've just been playing a little bit of that. And then I started on Sonic Adventure 2. I'm possibly halfway through the hero section. I'm still trying to see if I could still remember how to do the Chow Garden stuff, to see if I'll even bother doing it for this month, along with the main game. But besides that, and Marvel Rivals, I had to catch up on Zenless Zone Zero because I completely ignored, for the most part, besides the daily, all the stuff for the new character, Lighter. He's a really cool character, so I really wanted to get him.
Bust out that wallet.
No, I didn't have to. I got him. It took us several. Wait, what?
No lifed it.
Beg your pardon.
It was too cool. I couldn't ignore him. But besides that, I haven't been playing anything else besides all those. Udon?
All I have been playing this week has been Marvel Rivals with just a dash of Space Marine, because I am very much enjoying Marvel Rivals. We're going to get into the nitty gritty of it here soon, but it's very reminiscent of the early days of Overwatch. Obviously, it's the honeymoon phase, and it's oh god, it's nice to play a hero shooter that isn't clunky and also fun. So I have been enjoying it a lot, even though my first initial impression is I won't play this too much, and I'm no, I'm going to play it a lot, because it is very much fun to me. And then just some more Space Marine 2 on the side. Other than that, I haven't not done a whole lot else. That's pretty much about it with me. So what have you been doing, Jordan?
I am going to be very quick myself. I've been very busy this week, so I really have not done much of anything besides the Rivals as well, which is kind of why it's a pretty good idea that we wanted to have this episode just around this specific game. I actually did enjoy it quite a bit. So let's go ahead and just get started with what's going on. So Marvel Rivals, which guys did you prefer playing as the heroes or the villains?
I just like playing who I like playing as. I don't think it has when it comes to Marvel in general, my favorite character in Marvel is Venom, but I'm just starting to learn how to play Venom, because they didn't make him the way I wanted him to work in this game, but I'm just getting used to it because it's Venom. I'm forcing myself through it. But heroes or villains doesn't matter to me. I care about the gameplay of whoever it is. It's not like I'm married to either or. My favorite so far is, Rocket. I like playing support in this game because they make support fun. It's not just mercy, brain dead, here's my healing stick, and I just hold R and hope to God you don't die. Overwatch made a couple more interesting healers, but these guys like made like all their healers interesting, even Jeff the fucking land shark. I mean,
like that.
I only have I have an issue with his ult. His ult is retarded, but Rocket Raccoon's really fun to play, and I typically like playing support because I either play support or tank because I have really bad aim. Except for whenever the juices start flowing, and just some games I'm a god. Some games I can't hit the broadside of a barn, so I just tend to do the people that can heal, which is much easier for me. But yeah, Rocket Raccoon, Venom, DPS wise, probably Hela, but it's only because she's kind of simple. You just throw spears. Or even Iron Man is fun because he's all AoE and shit. But I don't know what other questions you have prepared, but I don't want to get into a full rant of what I think about the game. But yeah, I mean, I prefer. I guess technically I prefer the villains because goddamn, Magneto's fucking cool looking in this game.
Yeah.
Besides Venom, Magneto's just fucking badass old man. Looks awesome. Come to think of it, I don't know if there's actually too many villains per se. And even then, Venom in the game is described as a hero rather than a villain, and it's kind of the same thing with Magneto.
Yeah, like an anti-hero, kind of like Wolverine.
Yeah, well, Wolverine's. I don't know if Wolverine's ever been described as an anti-hero. He's always just been a hero. He's just been a dick.
You're a hero, but God, you're a dick.
Yeah, because Venom, Magneto. I'm trying to think. I can't really think of any because an anti-hero.
Loki,
I guess, would really be...
wasn't Loki?
Oh yeah, Loki. I forgot about Loki. Yeah, Loki's in there, which he's also fun
there's
too.
4 different villains.
Yeah, there's not
If
too
you
many
count
villains. There are
Winter Soldier as a
anti-heroes because they have Punisher and Moon Knight in there too. So they got a pretty broad. I think what they were trying to hit on mainly is most of the. Obviously, they didn't add everyone because they needed to have some people on backup for
DLC.
seasonal updates.
Yeah.
But what's really nice about the game is that all the heroes are free. We don't have to pay to unlock any of them. That is very nice, and I hope they continue to be free. That being said, the skin prices are fucking ridiculous, but they have to make money somehow, I suppose.
I didn't even look at that yet.
So they just released
like $20 each.
They released the Chris Hemsworth Thor today, like the MCU Thor skin, and it's like a 2,800 bundle, which in this game it's kind of it seems the currency is like 1-to-1 with like money value, so that's $28 for like the bundle for the skin. I'm like, Jesus Christ, it's like $30. It's like I could buy fucking Deep Rock Galactic with that much money. Like I mean the battle pass at least is kind of cheap because they have like a buy the premium battle pass and buy the premium battle pass, but from what I've seen I haven't bought the battle pass yet and I've almost unlocked all the pages without doing that. So and the regular premium pass is only $5 as opposed to the typical $10, but the super duper premium pass is $10, go figure. But now I'm getting off topic, so I'll go ahead and pass it to Edwin. Edwin, what do you think about the heroes and villains?
So I mostly play the heroes. I think like the only villain I play regularly is Loki, just because I like the way that he works. It took a little bit to understand. I spent like 2.5 hours playing every single one of these heroes, just testing them out in the practice range, and they all have so many abilities. The biggest difference between Jeff, which has like 3 abilities, and Moonlight that has like 9, is just the ratio between difficulty in these characters is absolutely ridiculous. So
I like that though. I like having heroes or just characters that obviously have a much higher skill ceiling and skill floor than comparatively to others, because you start with the character, at least in my case, I start with Rocket Raccoon, who's fairly simple, but it's like if I want to play a more advanced healer, I play Loki or something.
I like that. I like it says in the corner of it if they're hard or easy to use, so you kind of like get feeling.
I don't really like that because it says Venom is a 1-star, and Venom is a dive tank, which is not a 1-star experienced character at all.
That is true.
So they're kind of wank on their fucking difficulty, but it's just how you feel about it. Because Venom could be much easier, but a dive tank is not what I would consider a 1-star tank. A 1-star tank is Hulk or Doctor Strange.
Yeah, it took a little bit to understand Loki, but I think my favorite character so far is Loki. After I started to understand how he plays, and I do really like Star-Lord. He's like a tracer, just with none of the annoying bullshit. But he dies. He's pretty fucking squishy. But there is also one thing I did try Spider-Man and Venom, and their swinging is absolute nonsense. But apparently, I just saw a random video that popped up on my feed, and apparently that is a setting because there's a setting for web slinging specifically where it will do it automatically for you. So if you turn that off, it will be directional where you pick where you want to swing. So you can swing forward. It doesn't automatically go
Oh
upwards to
my
the
god, I
ceiling.
need to change that because it's the one thing I'm playing is Venom. I'm just like, all right, I'm time to swing, and oh Jesus Christ, it's like, where am I going? I don't know where I'm going.
Into the
Yeah,
stars.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna fucking change that the second I hop on again. So I was like, that's just to let everyone know. It's like you can change that, and swinging does not have to suck. But all right, you can go.
You can go mysterious third person.
Yeah. Well, I usually hand it off to you. So I was like, wait, who was next? I forgot.
You decide.
There's
Put in the
only one
comments,
option
chat.
here, and I don't know which one it is.
I guess it'll be me because I haven't gone yet. I mean, when we were playing, and in the video that's playing on this, like I basically just stuck with Scarlet Witch the whole time I was playing. And I mean, depending on how you're leaning, I guess villain or hero, which movie you choose or story you're reading. She's cool. Like I liked playing as Ceres when I played Paladins, and I don't play hero shooters. I only played Paladins really, and I haven't played Paladins in years. I was playing Paladins back in like 2015, 2016 for like maybe 3 years or something. Then I kind of just stopped. I played on PC and console, and so I picked Rivals for console because it's cross-platform. And Scarlet Witch kind of reminds me of Ceres's playstyle a bit, so like that's kind of who I settled on, and didn't really experiment with any other characters in matches, but it sounds like we're going to play some more after this. But I did try all the heroes out in the practice arena, and I kind of liked some of the shooters. Was it Bucky? He's pretty cool. Hawkeye's pretty cool. It's like skill shots, but the amount of damage they drop is crazy. But I do like the magic users. I don't know, some of the stuff. It just depends on the playstyle too. Like I don't really want to be a healer in this game, even though I've played as a healer in Paladins. But like Loki is kind of fun to use. He seemed kind of complicated when I first was like, fighting against him, being like, what the hell is this? And then come to find out like Spider-Man and Iron Man are kind of up your ass the entire time you're playing. But when I tried Spider-Man out, it's like, oh, he's not really that complicated to use, but like he feels like he would be like a glass cannon kind of thing. So I mean, I definitely prefer playing as Scarlet Witch still, from all the characters I tried, but at least I feel like I can branch into some other characters in like some more matches here and actually get them a go. I didn't want to like pick a new character and then die a ton and lose it for the team just because I could keep fucking up. But I mean, that's just like I was just being nice because it's not that big of a deal. But in the game just came out, so it's not like I can be great at every character immediately. But skill issue, I guess. Jordan, you can go unless you.
Yeah, so I mean, right off the get-go, this being a brand new game, starting off with 33 characters is pretty awesome. I mean, it is a split between the middle of being villain and hero. Me, I prefer playing as just with the roster that we have in general. I feel that there's a lot more to offer on the hero side than the villain side. Even though I'm more of the villain kind of guy, like the Venom very much so. and then some other characters along the way. But I was playing as like Captain America. He was like a rush in, run out kind of guy that would just is kind of cool with his special. He could just run, and he just does like extra damage and beat the hell out of people with his shield and stuff. He doesn't look like the average guy. He looked like he was actually covered in body armor, which is pretty cool. So it's like they were trying to focus a lot more on detail with the characters. That was pretty good because I was just like, I never was really a Captain America fan, but seeing that the uniform that he was wearing in this was actually quite cool. Adam Warlock, the magician, I was playing with him for a little bit. He was definitely like he could do a lot of damage as long as he was staying away. But if people found you, then he was basically a glass cannon. You just get killed right away. And that was it was not much fun for me. Hulk, I tried to latch onto some people with his grabbing and stuff with his special, but it would have a hard time for me being able to get a hold of somebody unless they were like literally I was in their face, and so I just get shot up. The one I wanted to try to like really get good with was Hawkeye, but God, do I suck at shooters. So like I can't hit shit, but I do like the feeling of when I was doing the practice level that you just shoot. And if you shot the top of the head, it did extra damage. And it's usually like a one-hit kill kind of thing. And that was really damn cool. Because that kind of reminds me of when I was like playing Skyrim. I would always be playing as with the bow. I never play with the sword or anything because I just loved the shot. When you shot somebody, it just went right down, just like that. It felt realistic. And that's kind of how I felt like with this. But it would only work if I could literally hit them in the head. And I never can. I'm fucking miss all the time. And if somebody plays as Wolverine, they're gonna fucking cut my head off. I can't fucking hit him. So it's just like, oh, this sucks. And then finally, was Punisher he was a hero, right? He was not a villain. Yeah, okay.
Well, he's an
anti-hero.
Yeah, I played it. Yeah,
very angry Batman.
Yeah, I played as him. He was dope. I liked his special because he got that like crazy ass gun thing. His double Gatling gun thing. He just fucking wrecked shop. I mean,
I just call it Gunzerker.
Yeah, he was pretty damn fun to play with. He was just all around like a shooter, so it felt like you were playing like a third-person shooter with him. It was kind of nice. So I guess the next question for everybody, so how well do you think that the game adds with the character design compared to the comics? I don't know if everybody had actually read the Marvel comics, and just seeing a comparison between the two, how does this look compared to actual Marvel comics?
I mean, I like the style of it a lot. I think that you can see, like, the characters are instantly recognizable, but that's just because of the years of being familiar with them. Outside of the one character that's she's an original character in a different like Marvel mobile game, I believe. But she's cool looking. I like the stylization of them. It's kind of Marvel vs. Capcom 3-ish, but like also arcane and stuff. So I think it fits really well. At least it translated. Magneto looks dope as shit. So I think they did a really good job on that.
Yeah, the only issue with the designs that I have is there's like, I don't know if it's like the art style, but it's like some of them are like weirdly shaped. Like Doctor Strange is like massively bulky. It looks really strange for like how his character was. Well, I guess it's because of live action. It's like I don't imagine Doctor Strange being a super buff wizard to like maybe half the size of the Hulk.
No, fuck
it's
that.
Just,
it looks good.
I mean, he does look cool, but it's like he's just like gigantic. I almost question like, is Doctor Strange really a tank? Because it just seems a little weird.
Well, Hulk is downsized in this game. You have to suspend. We have to all put our suspension of disbelief for some of these character sizes and power levels because let's be real, Black Widow isn't taking more than one punch from the Hulk before being disintegrated.
Yeah,
so like
wrecked.
Hulk himself is like downgraded in size. Like when Hulk ults and he becomes Big Hulk, that's more like what just Hulk's average form is, but he can't be that big, otherwise he'd be a horrible character because his hitbox is the size of a building.
Yeah,
so
we're playing
that's
frustrated Hulk.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to take the question in a different direction, only because I can't tell you shit about the comics. I wish I was trying to get this done where I had my friend Blake, who played with us when we were first initially playing, and who's like a walking Marvel encyclopedia, who would better be able to answer that question. But what I can answer, and what I have seen a lot of people saying about the game, it's kind of annoying the shit out of me. Because they're like, oh, Marvel Rivals is great, but it didn't do enough to differentiate itself from Overwatch. It's like I've heard that sentiment in many different
Yeah.
forms over the last week.
God.
And as a person who has about 2,500 hours like across Xbox, PlayStation, and PC Overwatch experience, it's kind of really ticking me off hearing that, because I'm just like, did y'all play Overwatch? Because first of all, number one, they're both hero shooters, guys. There's gonna be similarities, like, period. And I'm not talking about the dumb meme where some idiot from Blizzard tweeted about being like, "Oh, Black Widow is a ripoff of Widowmaker. Even the name is the same." I'm like, yes, Widowmaker famously was created far before Black Widow was ever a thing.
40 years ago.
Yeah, I'm going to assume that tweet's deleted. But beyond that, it's like, oh, it's too similar to Overwatch. I'm like, so are we just going to apply that to every battle royale ever made, every hero shooter ever made? There's going to be similarities, yes, especially with gameplay. I mean, like, because, I mean, hello, Blizzard's MO is just taking something familiar and, like, stylizing it and polishing it to a T and making it fun to play. Yeah. Overwatch was just compared 1-to-1 with Team Fortress 2 when it came out, because that was the last thing that could be considered a hero shooter that was out. And it's like, yes, there's payload in the game. You call it something else, and you capture the points and all this other stuff. But that's just the game modes you have in hero shooters. Like, that's just the standard for it nowadays. As far as like similarities in characters, yeah, totally. Because it's like what Edwin was saying. Like, Star-Lord can be compared to Tracer, but in the sense that they both have dual-wielded SMGs and are squishy. But Star-Lord doesn't have a recall ability. Star-Lord can't dash. He can fly. He has an AoE ability. He's completely different from Tracer. He's just similar to her on a surface level. Same thing when people calling Psylocke Girl Genji. It's like, kinda, sorta, but not really. It's like she has like this little shotgun ability. She can go invisible. Yes, she can dash. Her and Genji share like a dash ability. And technically speaking, their ults are kind of similar, where they draw a sword and just go completely ape shit. But I mean, you're going to have similarities. It's the same thing. But here's the thing. I can compare Loki. Loki's really similar to playing, what's-her-face from Paladins, the elf chick, where she makes a bunch of copies of herself and they all heal her teammates. That's what Loki does. He makes a bunch of copies of himself and heals his teammates with them. So you can compare that to fucking Paladins, but no one does, because no one gives two shits about Paladins. You're only comparing it to Overwatch because now suddenly Overwatch is having competition. I mean, we're going to see where, like, the numbers for the game sit in a month or two, like, after all this hype has died down, and see like how much competition it really is. But I mean, let's be real, Paladins is all right, but it's clunky at best. I played a decent bit of Paladins, but Marvel Rivals is like surprisingly polished and works well. The character, like, the stylization and character designs are all on Blizzard's level. So like Blizzard just has competition. And like, as far as different, I've played so much Overwatch. Yes, it feels like Overwatch, but isn't that kind of a good thing? You're being compared to the best hero shooter on, like, what we would consider the best hero shooter on the market, though I hate to admit it. But if you're being compared to the best of the best, like, that's a good thing. That's what you should be striving to be. I mean, hell, when you're trying to pitch a video game to someone, you need to be like, it's like this game, or like this game, something good. You know, you have to have something to strive to be, but still differentiate yourself. Like, none of these characters are 1-to-1. None of the maps are 1-to-1. They share similarities, but congratulations, they're going for the same fucking demographic. Like, I don't understand what the sentiment is. Like, it hasn't differentiated itself. I feel like it has. I don't feel like I'm playing Overwatch. I feel like I have the feeling like I was playing Overwatch when it came out, but I don't feel like, oh, this is just a copy of Overwatch. Fuck it, right? I don't know. It's aggravating me because of how different this game does feel to Overwatch, like, to the point where it is a different experience.
Yeah, and for me, since I didn't really play Overwatch, you know, it's like I don't have that same feeling. So obviously, it's like people that are big fans of Overwatch are like making these comparisons. Now, when I saw the videos of the trailers and stuff, I was like, oh, that looks like Overwatch. But, you know, that's kind of, like you said, that's the only thing I really have to compare it to. And I don't think it's a bad thing at all. I think it's just people might be getting nervous. But, you know, PlayStation made their own Smash Brothers, and we're still not playing it today.
Yeah, it's like, it can work, it can fail, but it's like being compared to the best thing in that category is a good thing. Because again, that's what I saw. I was just like, yeah, it looks like Overwatch, but like in the sense that it's colorful, it's stylized, it looks like it runs well, you know? I think I might have been glitched out once in my like roughly 12 hours I have in the game at this point.
Yeah. I haven't had any experience I haven't had any like weird things happen to me yet.
No connection issues either, because like even on launch day, I never had issues connecting. Usually we see that nowadays with big releases. Like if it's an online game, the fucking servers just explode immediately. But
yeah.
I don't know. It's just it's so to me it feels a lot different. I mean, I'm not the end all be all of fucking Overwatch criticism, but it's just like I have so much time in that fucking game, and I don't feel like I'm playing Overwatch. It's similar, but that's it. You know, it's good thing.
Yeah, I mean, the weird, real quick, the weird thing for me is, well, it's not weird, I guess. It's just when people make those statements too, they're like, "Oh, it's not different enough," but they don't offer like what would have made it different. Like what do you think they should do instead of what they're doing? And like, you know, would that even work? I mean, Battleborn existed, and that got completely canned, by Overwatch.
Yeah, it's like Battleborn was a victim of its own hubris in the sense that it came out at a horrible time. Because I actually played Battleborn a decent amount because I was getting antsy for the release of Overwatch. And I needed something to hold me over, and I thought Battleborn was good. That was just it being overshadowed by a game that was similar but much better.
It had cool characters. I mean, it played a little bit more MOBA-esque with like the minions and stuff, but Blizzard did that on purpose because they moved up the launch. It's the first time I've ever seen them move a launch closer and then rather than delaying a game farther away. So they moved the launch closer so that the player base for, Battleborn would probably get cannibalized by their product. And that's kind of like, it's dickish, but I mean, it does happen in the reverse anyways when people delay a game and then they drop it next to like God of War and you're like, oh crap.
Yeah. But like, I don't know. I don't know. That's kind of my rant on that. I just wanted to point out just like, cause I've been seeing it everywhere and it's kind of annoying the crap out of me. People aren't like shitting on the game. Clearly everyone likes it, but it's like, oh, it doesn't differentiate itself. It doesn't differentiate itself enough. And I agree with what you said. It's like, what would you do when you differentiate too much from the golden standard? What do you wind up with? Concord. Paladins, it's like is it the character designs that are too similar, the kits that are too similar? Because I can tell you right now, they're not too similar. They're just not.
Yeah,
like the difference between Overwatch and Marvel Rivals is like you can compare them. It was like, and that's fine. But it's like when I first opened up the game, I noticed that it's like how many melee fighters there were in here. And it's like, and I was like, that was a very, very decent amount of fighters. So it's not just a hero shooter. It's like also a fighter, because some of these characters, while they do have melees, they also have guns. But some of them, like Iron Fist and Captain America, I was like, if you take away like the shield throw, like then all they have is just melee combat, along with the Hulk and Black Panther. But,
That's like, guess for instance, one of the things that separates it from Overwatch is just that because of that, well, not that, but the verticality gameplay of this game. That was a horrible sentence, but the verticality of the game is like way higher in this game because in Overwatch you had Pharah and Mercy that could fly. I'm way out of the loop, so maybe there's someone else who can fly. I'm not counting any heroes that can just jump really high, like technically Wrecking Ball, but those were the only characters you had to work out for. If no one was playing those characters on the enemy team, you didn't even have to look in the sky at all. This game, you just have characters that fly constantly, like Iron Man and Storm. Like they can, and a lot of characters have temporary fly abilities, like Venom and Spider-Man are swinging all over the goddamn place. Like there's so much more reasons you have to look up in this game. So all the maps are like way more vertical, and not to mention that I feel like this, and that's another thing. This game has like really cool destructible environments. You can't destroy shit in Overwatch. All the fucking maps are just static. The whole like map can change when someone releases some big fuck all explosion ultimate, and then half the buildings are destroyed, and like that completely changes how that section of the map is going to be played in. That's really
Corey.
cool.
We're not going to forget that time.
I mean, it was cool.
Corey brought the house down with fucking Scarlet Witch and changed like the entire gameplay area we were in. But I mean, that's cool. I mean, that's a huge gameplay difference from Overwatch. I mean, just like literally just the fact we have characters that just fly constantly. Like Pharah had a fucking meter she had to manage in order to stay, and she just kind of like bobbed around on her tiny jetpack that could barely fly. But now you just have Iron Man who's like, "Lol, I could just fly all I
Yeah.
want."
Well, I think the balance. I think it's like a balance thing, right? Is Marvel Rivals, and we'll probably get into some of the other characters, of course, but it feels like they have a good balance of play styles because in Overwatch you have like very limited flying characters, and everybody has a gun. So it's like, do I want to be the flying character because I'm going to get shot because I don't have any cover? But in this, it's like Iron Man's up there, but Spider-Man can get up there, but all these other characters can get up there. So even though there's somebody in the sky, they're not immune to other players like getting on them too.
Oh yeah, I mean, when Blake was playing Hulk, he would regularly just be like, "There's Iron Man," and he'll just jump as Hulk and just like haymaker Iron Man midair and kill him. Like you have options against the flying characters. And what actually another thing I just remembered, a big thing about this game that I really like was the team up mechanic. That's a huge differentiator from other hero shooters. So the team up mechanic, you have like some characters that are called like a team up anchor. So like if you play a certain character, certain other characters synergize with them. So as an example, if I played Rocket Raccoon, two characters that synergize with him are Punisher and Winter Soldier. And what's so cool about it is that Rocket literally gets an extra ability he doesn't have otherwise, unless one of those other characters is playing in the same game, where he can throw down a little machine that'll give either one of those characters infinite ammo while they're in its radius. Just infinite ammo. And they can just fire and increase fire rate. And it's crazy that you just get an entire another ability when you play a character like that. And then some characters, like me and Blake were playing, he was playing Hulk and I was playing Doctor Strange on tank. Those two characters synergize, and Hulk gives Doctor Strange extra gamma radiation, like damage on like this little burst ability he does when he builds up damage by doing damage to people. But even though it doesn't give him an extra ability, his other abilities are augmented. But on top of that, Hulk is actually getting a plus 20. I think it was like 20%. It was either 20% or just a flat 250 increase to his health. But that's a lot just for having another character on your team that just makes Hulk stronger and makes Doctor Strange stronger. And there's so many of those combinations in the game that encourages you to play as other characters. Like, another fun one is that Hela, which I just remembered, that's another villain. Hela, as a DPS, can team up with Thor and Loki. That if either one of them die and she kills an enemy player, they just come back to life right then and there. Like, it's crazy. Just reviving for getting a kill, that's insane value. And not to mention, she just gets a flat 20% boost to her damage, which is crazy. There's so much damage just getting added to you just for the fact that you had another character on your team with a team up ability. It's a really fun mechanic.
It's very smart for them to do that because it really helps with team building instead of what the problems used to be, especially like in Paladins, for example, is like everybody kept picking like the same. It would just like, yo, I need a flank and then I need a tank and I need a healer, but everybody just picked flanks. And so it's like, great, all of our team is low health and we're never going to win this because we can't hold a point. But with the synergy thing, it's like it's actually worth being a different class. So it kind of keeps the team like balanced more instead of everybody just picking DPS and running into the fire.
Yeah, and then Overwatch, it was like the only way you're gonna know what character synergizes with which is if you do your own research. And it got to the point where everyone was picking like terrible characters for their entire team, where they forced everyone to be 2, 2, and 2 in tank support and damage. So it's like it became such a huge problem in Overwatch. So it's like the company itself had to force a new mechanic for everyone to have a balanced team. So it's just funny to think that was like, hey, it was like here's some decent guidelines to guide you towards like characters that can work well with each other.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I think the downside of it though is that like any other competitive multiplayer game, I feel like this game will come under like I don't know that obviously they have like a Fortnite thing in it where they have like a tab that's just for like continuously ongoing tournaments or whatever, but there will be a meta that will develop There will be the pros playing the games that will decide that which team ups are the best, and you're going to see, like, even just today I was playing for a couple hours, I was suddenly seeing Hawkeye a lot more in games because I think people have figured out that he does a fuck ton of damage if he hits people. Which sounds stupid, but I mean, he's just, you just arrow people and they die. But I've just suddenly seen a lot more Hawkeye, so that we will see eventually, like, more team ups being more commonplace. I just hope quick play stays in a state that it's just play what you want, basically. Because that's the other thing. It seems to me that different team comps work. You don't have to do a 2-2-2 team comp of a 2 tanks, 2 support, 2 DPS. Because I've seen games work where you need to have at least 1 tank, but you can have 1 tank, 3 DPS, and 2 supports, or 3 supports, 2 DPS, 1 tank, and that worked just perfectly well. But obviously, your skill has to kind of like compensate for the lack of more damage just by not getting hit or killing the other enemy, the enemy faster or whatever. But that is a huge tangent on how I was trying to differentiate it from Overwatch. I didn't mean to go so far off topic of the original question. I just didn't have anything to add to the comic book discussion. So,
yeah, I mean, I was just going to piggyback on what you were talking about. I mean, for me, it was that, yeah, if they're going to try to say in comparison of what they're going to do, I mean, doesn't this game already alone have more characters than what Overwatch offered to begin with?
At launch, I think so. Because that was the other thing that I heard. I didn't see it a lot around, but I saw someone was like, they're like, oh, the game has way too many characters and has balance issues. I'm like, too many characters? That's a good thing, my guy. Like, what do you want? Like 2 fucking characters on each fucking section? I love the fact there's tons of things to try out.
Have you played Marvel vs. Capcom 2?
Yeah, I'm just like, what do you mean too many characters? I mean, I agree that the game does have balancing issues because some characters are blatantly better than others, and some characters have abilities that are fucking broken. Goddamn Jeff the fucking shark. But he's fun to play, but god damn it, that ult is stupid. Like, that's probably the one ability in the game that does not feel good to be killed by, because Jeff just eats you, and even if you're flying, by the way, because Iron Man can just be in the air above him, but if he gets eaten anyways, and he just takes you to a ledge. And a lot of characters do have some way to recover from it, but then if I'm playing Mantis, I'm just like, well, guess I'll die because there's nothing I can do about this. And he just takes you to a ledge and throws you into a fucking abyss, or he just kills himself Kirby style from Super Smash Brothers and just sucks you up and throws himself off the ledge. That is not fun to be killed by, and it's really fast. And it's getting easier to dodge once you know what to look for, but again, certain characters, like if I'm playing Mantis, like, she has no movement ability if she's thrown off a ledge, so unless someone kills Jeff before he throws you off, you're just screwed.
Yeah, I just think it's a hell of a challenge to try to make 33 characters all unique from each other while at the same time trying to maintain a good playable game that's not going to be completely broken to where it's not fun. I mean, so seeing that everybody has some sort of uniqueness to the character like they did in the comics is great. I mean, that's the thing for me, is that I'm looking at the design of these characters, and yes, there are some changes here and there from what they used to be, but they do look pretty damn close. I'm glad to see that I'm not seeing a Thor that looks like Chris Hemsworth, or I'm seeing the fucking what is it, Star-Lord that looks like Chris Pratt, or
you got to pay $30 to see that.
Oh yeah, I got to pay money to get this. So I'm glad they can keep that. They can keep that. And I'm happy. So, like, literally keeping everything the way it was. Now, I had one thing that I did hear about, and it was just from somebody that was talking about that they were reading online that some people were having great, were being upset about with Wolverine's design, saying he wasn't wearing his suit, or he just didn't look, I guess, based on the human anatomy and how big his forearms were and everything, and he just didn't make sense. And I was like, "That what?"
When I saw Wolverine,
seen Wolverine?
Yeah. Well, the thing for me is that, for one, I liked the voice in it because it had the same guy that played him in Marvel Alliance, so he had the same kind of voice actor, and his design looked the same. So he looked like a beast. He looked like an actual true fucking the Wolverine, like he's supposed to be. He looks fucking cool. I mean, so I don't see where the issue would be in there, because again, we're talking about comic books. We're talking about fictional characters. Okay, so to being able to see something and say that doesn't look human or that doesn't look real, no shit. It's a comic book character. So just fucking use your brain and understand that this is fiction. This is a choice of being able to see other things without constantly nitpicking here and there. it's just for me, as I've seen the Marvel comics, I've actually loved X-Men and all that stuff, and being able to see these characters in the way that they were designed, it really does reflect quite well. And I've been, like I said, enjoying the game myself. So I've really don't understand how that came to be, but whatever. I guess you always have a world with people that are just upset about anything.
Well, me and Blake were talking about this because it's very. We were actually talking about that specific topic of how like all the characters have like they're. I don't think they're original designs. I think all these designs came from some form of the comics. At least what Blake was saying. But we were saying literally, it's like this is a Marvel game, not an MCU game, not a Marvel Comics game. It's a Marvel game. It's a game set in the Marvel universe. It's not obligated to follow anything from the MCU. It's not obligated to technically follow anything from the comics, even though it's definitely using their elements, but it's just its own thing. So that's a great thing because, I mean, IMO, I think it had to fight through the fact it was a Marvel game because the MCU has sucked major dick ever since Infinity or Endgame, really, and Endgame itself is iffy. And so the fact that it had to fight through the fact that the MCU itself, which is arguably the most popular version of Marvel with the common people, it was impressive. And on top of, I'm just piggybacking on it, god damn it, it is so nice to see a fucking game with characters where they're either cool, they're hot, or they're both. God damn it, that's awesome. I just like seeing cool characters that look good. I'm tired of seeing a bunch of characters that look like fucking potatoes. It's getting really annoying. So I'm just glad that I was absolutely flabbergasted that this game even existed with some of the designs that they have. Looking at Psylocke's alternate like skin, I'm like, holy shit! They like Disney okayed that. I am shocked that this exists. I was glad it was. I'm just glad whatever person was in charge of this apparently wasn't doing their job correctly because they just let these people do whatever the fuck they want. They're like, let's make something fucking awesome, and Disney wasn't allowed to stop them this time.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So as we were talking about with like the team building structure and how they're able to use these things to be able to make characters more unique, get new weapons and such, like you were talking about, infinity ammo. What kind of strategies do you find are most effective when you're playing this game? Is there any certain strategy that you guys know of? Like, there needs to be a way that I need to go in there with a full team of people. We're just gonna rush them in, or we need to play it defenseful. We need to be careful. We need to strategize before we go out there. What kind of strategies do you guys think would work in any sort of event when you're playing Marvel?
I mean,
well, that's good. No, go ahead.
Okay, I was just gonna say, like, I haven't really played long enough to kind of develop one, but based off of like the rounds that we're seeing, because I've gotten killed plenty of times. It's just, you know, get used to the hero that you're doing and understand the moves. There's times where in the video that's playing probably for the YouTube channel, is like when I do the Scarlet Witch bomb, like I float out to the team and they just kill me before I explode. You know, it's just like typical shooter strategy, I think, outside of like understanding your cooldowns and also having a balanced team, because, you know, you need a healer, like Udon was saying earlier, where like you might not have to be as structured as the other things, but you know, that'll change as metas kind of evolve. But
yeah, when people get better at this game, because again, honeymoon phase of a hero shooter is this beginning part where no one has any idea what the fuck they're doing. Once the meta develops, we'll see how it settles. But what I was going to say was that the beauty of hero shooters is that every game does feel unique to an extent. You are going to have samey matches again once a meta develops and you start seeing more of the same character. But it's like, let's take Venom, for example. I don't know if anyone here knew what I was saying when I was talking about a dive tank.
Yes.
But a dive... Yes, you didn't know, or yes, you did?
No, yes, I did know.
Oh, okay. Well, for anyone who doesn't know, a dive tank is essentially a tank, but that doesn't necessarily protect their team, but basically cannonballs into the enemy team and just harasses them, forcing them to focus on him while they're... What?
It's just such a funny turn. It's just like Venom landing in your circle and just like spitting in their face.
Fuck!
I mean, that's what it is. That's the concept.
Yelling at everybody.
I mean, that's the concept, right? So in ideally in a team comp like that, at least in my experience, you want DPS people that are going to go in with you, like Wolverine or Iron Fist or Magic or something like that. Like other characters that are going to follow up after Venom and just start causing chaos in the middle of the team. Because the thing is that with dive tanks, Venom goes in, he starts stabbing people. You usually pick like one person to pick on and try to kill, but your main purpose is just to get punched. And when you're about to die, you just web swing back to your team and get healed. But when you're getting healed, there's no frontline. Well, mainly there's no frontline tank if you're the only tank. This is why it's good to have two tanks. But dive tanks kind of need a team comp built around them, because if you're just Venom and you jump in and your DPS is like Hawkeye and Black Widow in the back line, the only way this works is if they're gods and they start killing people, because then they really have nothing else to shoot at but you, and Venom's gonna melt with everyone hitting him instead of having like, again, like an Iron Fist or a Psylocke or someone to go in with them where their attention might be divided. So it's it's you play a different kind of game where you play as like Doctor Strange or Magneto, who are kind of more defensive tanks because they have lots of shields and stuff like that, where the gameplay isn't as fast paced or anything like that. They're supposed to take it more slowly and protect their team with a big ass shield. Which all the tanks in this game are just as active as the healers, which I find really fun. Because, for instance, when I'm playing Overwatch and I'm playing Reinhardt, I just feel like, well, I guess I'll stand here and with my shield up and hope to God my team is going to kill someone and wait for the enemy team to get in range so I can hit them with my big hammer. Because if I charge in, I'm just going to fucking get nuked and die. Where with Doctor Strange and stuff, who would probably be the only closest comparison because he has a big shield too, but he has a ranged attack, he can fly, he can open up the fucking portals, which, by the way, is super seamless and cool because it works just like a portal from the game Portal. Like, it is so one for one. That, like, I don't know if you guys have used or seen how that ability works, but it is so fucking cool. There's so many crazy things you can do with that.
Yeah, it's like the one that I was playing with your friend. I forgot what his name was.
Blake.
My bad. Yeah, Blake. We got into a match, and like the person on the enemy team playing Doctor Strange saw the exact same video that I did, but I didn't bother attempting this because it's fucking stupid. Is you put a portal in front of the enemy team base, and then you put the other end of the portal outside the ring, and then everyone just immediately walks in because everyone just crowds in front of the door just to get the game started, and they all run through the portal and then down into off the game level.
Yeah,
so I was like, that's just instant death.
Yeah. But I mean, so when it comes to strategies, it's like I kind of take it by a year because, again, I usually play support because I like how healing works in this game, but I change who I'm playing, A, based on the map you're playing on, and B, like, based on who my teammates are, because if I have a lot of teammates that relatively stay on the ground or group together, I'll play Rocket because his healing is like little Moira balls, which, if anyone knows what I'm talking about, but basically he shoots little balls of healing that'll slow down around your allies and slowly heal them as they fly by, and you just shoot them really fast. But if I have a bunch of flying teammates, and I can't really play Rocket because it's much harder to heal them. If I have flying teammates, I want to play either Mantis or Luna Snow, because Luna Snow has really high directed healing with lots of range, so healing them is much easier. Or Mantis, who I just throw a heal over time on them, and it's really easy because I just look at them and click a button. There's no aiming involved at all. You can also use like Cloak and Dagger for that too, because her attacks home in on people. Same thing if I have like a Venom or a Spider-Man, same thing. I want more mobile healing rather than stationary healing, because again, you can't really play Loki. I mean, you could if you had good enough aim, but he typically wants his teammates to be grounded because shooting people mid-air is is much more difficult than just hitting a button and giving them a heal over time. So it just depends on every map who you're playing as. Again, because of the team-up mechanic, also depends on what your teammates are playing can affect on who you're going to play, what map you're going to play on. Because there are some maps that I have found playing Venom on is painful because they have like a low ceiling or something, so swinging around is like actually a pain in the ass, and I just keep hitting my head on the ceiling or a fucking overhang and just stop where I am, and I'm just like, well, guess I'll die then, because I have nowhere to go. So I think it's just the beauty of hero shooters being able to have a more or less different gameplay experience every single match. It's not going to play out exactly the same every single time.
Yeah, and I know that's definitely it, since it is a brand new game, so there will be strategies that will eventually develop over time where you'll basically know a certain strategy that they're going to be expecting from just any more experienced players out there. One thing I did note was that beforehand, we were just talking about how the maps were all open. They were a lot more unique as you were going through different levels and such. The thing I really did appreciate when I tested it out was when I was playing as Venom and I was doing the web sling, there was a huge corner turn that you basically had to go through these giant barricades or big giant doors in order to get through to this next other side level, and there was constantly people that were flowing through it. Well, I was finding that, obviously with Spider-Man and Venom, you have the giant web swinging thing that you could do, and so I actually used Venom's swing, and I swung all the way around this giant ass wall, and I thought it would either have like some sort of invisible lining that would basically say, nope, you can't do that. It allowed me to go all the way around and be able to come from the back and then be able to use that latch on move that Venom does when he throws like this type of of himself and he attaches it to somebody, so that's doing damage while you focus on another character, and so while you're beating the hell out of somebody, this other person's taking damage too, so you can turn around and finish them off. So it's kind of cool how that actually played in, that you can actually do that kind of stuff where the level isn't permitting you from doing things that you want, which is great. So I can literally go way up above or I can go way around. It kind of works to your benefit depending on the character that you play. But the one that I was definitely seeing that a lot of people were doing was like having Warlock or any of those spellcasters basically that are going to be able to keep things from range, keeping them out of danger basically, while you have the brutes like your Wolverine, your Hulk, and everything rushing in and attacking the forefront until basically the others were wearing them out so much to where they were either getting killed off by the Wolverine or the Hulk, or vice versa, where they were constantly being occupied and basically creating a whole lot of confusion because they're just getting ramped all over the place by these big ass characters, and you just don't know where the hell these spells are coming from or the arrows that are getting shot in between your face. You're constantly getting whipped out. So it's kind of like you're seeing a mixture of brute force versus long range weaponry, like all happening at one time for people to be successful. The only thing that I know that kind of changes and varies is like when you're doing the chariot one, where that's constantly a moving obstacle and you're having to chase it as it's going along the way. So you're trying to strategize, but at the same time you don't have a structured area because it's constantly moving and you're having to keep along with it. And as you're moving, obviously the level changes too, so you're trying to figure out if it's going to be close range or long range. Am I indoors, am I outdoors, what's really working? So it's kind of nice to see how that is, and I am going to be practicing more once we're done with this podcast, because I really want to give it a shot to see what else I can learn from these other characters. So with that being said, so now that we've talked about the characters that we have already, what other characters would you like to see in the roster, like in the future? What would you like to see come into play for the Marvel game?
Dormammu.
Dormammu.
That would be kind of, I mean, he's a fighter in Marvel vs. Capcom, at least to that iteration of him, so it's kind of
literally
kind of fun.
Dormammu,
That was actually
Ghost Rider.
That was one of my favorite actually characters in that game, was Dormammu. But I think that was one of the more fun, like, I guess not really theory crafting, but just the things that me and Blake were talking about, just imagining the different characters that are going to come from this. Because it's fun to think about who's going to be in it. It's fun to think about what their kit's going to be, and it's fun to think about what team ups they're going to have. Like, there's so much to consider, like, and how they're going to add new characters. If it's going to be like every season, twice a season, whatever. Because obviously, we're going to have Deadpool at some point. That's just a given, because I'm sure they're saving him for his own season or however they're going to do it, because they know Deadpool is going to sell, period. Me personally, besides Deadpool, I kind of wanted to see redemption for a few characters that I like, that I feel like the MCU has shit all over, and I want to see the cool version of them in this game. I'm mainly talking about Captain Marvel and She-Hulk. I think both of them would be super cool characters in this game, because Disney had ruined them with the stupid TV show and the stupid movies. Because I think they're cool characters, they just horrible on screen, but I think here they would be really cool characters. Not to mention that apparently Doctor Doom is going to be is like I guess a big part in the quote unquote lore of the game. Doctor Doom himself would be a really cool character. Possibly having a team up with Magneto or something would be kind of neat. What was it? Obviously we have some of the Guardians, but we don't have Gamora. We don't have
Drax.
Yeah, that was the word I was stuck on.
Guy.
Guy. Funny man.
Face guy.
Yeah, we don't have Drax. We don't have I think we've hit most of the other MCU characters because
Thanos.
Obviously that was Thanos would be another big one, adding Thanos.
And the children of Thanos, like Glaive and the Maw, like they would be pretty dope. To get in there. I mean, they'll probably do like the cinematic universe characters just because that's like the best of both worlds for the fan base. But like going in and grabbing like Century and stuff like that, it'd be it's like, oh yeah, like I want to see these characters.
Yeah, I think we were talking about this. Like most of the characters in the current roster have been either in an MCU movie or have had their own show. There's only a small handful that either no one really knew about, like Jeff the Shark, but I mean, because of the character, he's a cute shark dog, no one's not gonna not like him.
They needed their hamster.
Yeah, they needed their merch seller. But besides him, you have characters like Luna Snow, who, again, no one knows who the fuck that is. I didn't. I think she's great. I think she's cool.
I mistook Luna Snow for a very controversial character with ice powers. I thought it was that snowflake character.
We had Cloak and Dagger, which again I haven't heard of. Blake says they had a TV show, but I don't know if that was under the Disney regime or not. Cloak and Dagger is new. I think that you have Magique, who I don't think anyone knew about.
Yeah, she's kind of cool. I like her concept.
Yeah, I like her design. She's cool, but that's kind of just a small handful of characters we have that no one knows about. So they might drip feed those, but they're definitely going to focus more on the characters that are going to bring people in again. Or I was talking about Blake. Fucking Doc Ock would be crazy. How cool a character would that be?
Awesome.
Doc Ock, Green
Mysterio.
Goblin.
Mysterio.
Yeah,
Mysterio would be cool.
I mean, because clearly they have free reign over the Spider-Man
and X-Men. So. I mean, there's plenty of X-Men that you can get.
Or the Fantastic Four in general. None of them are in the game yet. So, Johnny Storm would probably be another constantly flying character that's just raining hellfire on everybody.
Well, I mean,
probably waiting on the movie because the Fantastic Four movie is going to come out, and they'll probably just be like all four and Doctor Doom as like this season's 5 character pack or whatever. I don't know how large of characters are gonna, because I know when Fortnite does their character stuff, and I mean it's a completely different thing. It's not a licensed property, but they do licenses.
They don't have to worry about balancing, adding characters that are going to affect how the entire game plays is entirely.
Yeah, because Paladins and Overwatch and stuff, it's like a new challenger kind of thing. So you get one new character every certain amount of time, and
it would take a while for X-Men because that is a huge roster. That's a lot of fucking characters in X-Men.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the benefit to this game, right? Is it has a roster to kind of just reach into the bucket and grab one. You don't even have to think about. You have to put thought into the moveset and synergy and stuff, but the character design's kind of there. Just who do we want?
Yeah, I mean Phoenix would be cool. Obviously Beast,
Silver Surfer.
Mystique.
Yeah, Beast would be cool.
Toad.
And I know we were Toad. I know we were joking about it, but I really am interested what they would do if they added Professor X, as a support character or something.
He just kills everything.
Well, I mean, honestly,
I can't get up to the point. These are stairs. I need a ramp.
yeah. Fuck, guys, help me out here.
You'd obviously have a hover chair or something, but it would. I just think I don't know. I think they would be a cool character.
Yeah, he's like, I'm coming, guys. He's on that little chair on the wall, just.
He has to transport to the seat that takes him upstairs. I'm sorry.
Oh crap! Everybody died.
Yeah. Oh, they're all dead. Kind of like what happened in fucking Multiverse of Madness, that shitty ass movie. I fucking hate that movie so goddamn much.
I'm there with you.
I left. I left that theater going what the fuck?
I didn't even attend a theater. I was afraid.
Yeah,
You were
watched
right
it
to be
I
totally.
left in madness.
No, I was just mad. Not madness. I was just mad. That's all it was.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of character. I mean, the entire franchise is about people with abilities, so it's like it's probably the most fun because you get to think about how their abilities would apply to something like this, and you're not like reinventing the wheel, so to speak, because it's just, hey, here's a character that seems like they got a cool move set. Because what's his face? God damn it, brain fart here.
That's right.
Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider. His chain, like that, already could just grab people out of the sky and pull them to him. You know, it's like that kind of shit. And then, or pull you to them, and that's already a cool mechanic. Blackheart would be awesome. Especially if it was if it was the character, if it looked like the one from Marvel vs. Capcom, that'd be really cool.
That'd
not
be so
the movie.
cool. Yeah.
Shumagorath would be hilarious. There's just plenty of characters. They're gonna pick oddball characters. So you got to think about Juggernaut.
I was joking with Blake. Add Kingpin from Into the Spider-Verse, specifically that one.
Yeah, man, he's built
Big
like an
as
ice cream
shit.
truck.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many characters, right? And there's so many opportunities because of the classes that you could make them for. Like, it's funny to me that Rocket is a support class.
It kind of makes sense to me.
Because he's guns, but it's like he heals you.
He's guns and gadgets. He has a bunch of like gadgets and crazy shit. And he has a big Gatling gun. I mean, he doesn't not have a gun, but yes, you are primarily healing. But you're I don't know. He kind of plays like Ratchet or something. You know, he just has a bunch of crazy shit that he throws all around. You know.
Yeah, I mean I am excited about future picks. The one thing this game will have to worry about though is they are going to join the community of Smash Brothers in disappointment when the hero they get is not the one that everybody wanted. You know?
Yeah, but I mean that's just how it goes.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been disappointed with every Overwatch character besides Juno since I left, and the last character when I left, they came out with Baptiste, and I haven't liked any character that they come out with until Juno came out. Was the only one that I thought was good.
Yeah, it'd be very upsetting if it's only one person at a time, and they're like, next character, Jubilee.
Yeah,
I'm like, fuck.
Especially, well,
girl.
you know, they could make her work, but like, I don't want it to be Jubilee either. And the funny thing is, everybody can work, but that's the problem, right? Is like, if they're gonna slow drip the characters in there and they're going through MCU
Carnage,
then we're gonna get to see a lot of like, you know, here comes Shang-Chi, here comes Daredevil. You know, it's like, I'm sure they could play really cool, but it's like, can we get anybody that hasn't been on screen yet?
Or Gambit or fucking Blade.
Yeah, Gambit would be fucking awesome.
He's got to make a name for himself.
That's true.
Blade.
I just said Blade. Tim already said that. But the season 0 only lasts like a month. Like, it's already down to like 25 days. Like, the season seemingly going to be short unless they're going to lengthen it in the future, and just the opening season is going to be short so they can, like, I don't know, see how the game is faring and then make some adjustments.
Server testing and stuff like that.
So
10 million players in the first week. I want to know how many microtransactions happened, because even if it's just 10% of that,
the fucking Psylocke skin by itself has probably made the most money, because it's just, I want someone to show this to Disney and just be like, look at that, look what we did. Isn't that funny?
Well, it's probably a breath of fresh ass for them to have a Marvel property come out and just start making hand over fist money. I mean, Deadpool just did the same thing, but
but I'm gonna go against the grain. Deadpool and Wolverine is like mid at best. Deadpool and Wolverine is not a great movie. It's better than recent outings, but it's not fantastic.
Yeah, it's definitely better than Mind of Madness or Thor: Love and Thunder.
Oh yes, much better than those two. But I mean, when your hurdle is literally underground, it's not. You don't even have to jump to get over it. Like, it's not really hard.
Do you want me to kick you in your left ball or your right ball? You're like, you're okay.
But yeah, it's like, this game is obviously seems again. We've already seen player counts dropping because if I'm on Steam right now, I think it's at like 300,000 instead of the 450 that it was at like launch. And this is like Friday night where it should be at its peak. Oh no, current players 414,000 just on Steam. Never mind. It's. I mean, obviously that's still less than 450, but I mean that's more than healthy.
Yeah, I mean that was a quick rise, and this is a very important weekend, I think, for them, especially since Fortnite just dropped its new update, and Helldivers dropped an update too. So
and
those are
Space
two
Marine
new.
2 dropped an update.
Yeah, so there's a lot of multiplayer DLC that just came out this weekend, and Marvel has to compete against like other new things. It's kind of like World of Warcraft coming out with a DLC, and then everybody that was left World of Warcraft like a while ago was like, well, I better get back and dust off the old characters to see what this is about before I go back to what I was doing. So, like, for it to have 400,000 players right now on Steam, that's pretty good, especially with all the new stuff coming. Because, I mean, we all had Helldivers at the beginning of the year, and I just updated it so that I can give it a go. But I'm going to play Rivals after this and for a little bit, but I will play Helldivers at some point this weekend.
Yeah.
And Sonic.
Yeah, well, I've been looking around while we all been chatting up, and there has been a couple of sites where they're talking about that there was some sort of leak that came out about upcoming characters that are possibly may show up in upcoming updates or whatever that they may have for the game, which is okay. It's not bad. It's actually kind of nice.
I didn't look at that one. It's like, what can you trust on the internet?
Right.
Yeah, I haven't looked at it.
Grain of salt. All the Switch leaks and stuff that I follow, it's like, that's cool, but I'm still waiting. Like it's a good ballpark estimate though from some of the stuff. So it really depends on the leaker and their track record of positive information.
Like I said, this game also the game isn't perfect. We've been praising the shit out of it. There's plenty to praise, but as I said, Jeff the Landshark has an ult that's annoying. Storm feels incredibly underpowered. She seems just like, why would you... When I played Storm and I played Iron Man, it just turned out to be like, why wouldn't you just play Iron Man? Because the problem with Storm is that she flies constantly, but her attacks aren't AoE attacks. Iron Man's is, and that's kind of how it needs to be when you fly, because you're looking down on the enemy, and it's harder to aim while you have like a whole 360 degree like possibility of movement. So having like a bombing attack is much better than having like a precise attack. Like, I see Storm barely getting any play. As I said, I'm a huge Venom fan. He is not how I wanted him to be. All of his abilities are fine except his like basic attack, which instead of like clawing and biting people like I would imagine he would, he like uses like he stabs people with his little like 4 little tentacles that come out of his back, and like really precisely. And I'm just like, dude, you're like a carnivore, like a predator. Like, you should be ripping people apart. I don't understand why he has like this little like little tiny pinprick like acupuncture attack. I'm just like, it's so weird. This is not how I wanted Venom to be.
It's kind of like Penny Parker's robot attack. That attack and Venom's attack are very similar, with the little arms that come out of her back too.
Yeah, Penny Parker's is even weirder because I first of all, that'll give. It's just like, what is Penny Parker's? Like, she's Diva. That's it. That's what Penny Parker is, because she's not the Penny Parker from Into the Spider-Verse, nor should she be. No. But the one thing I question about is like in her mech, I'm like, where does she go? That doesn't look big enough for even her, and she's like a slim girl. Like, the mech is very thin, and like the mech itself is cool. I just don't understand where Penny goes.
It looks like an Ava unit.
Yeah. Yeah, Penny, I don't really care for her play style. She's good at locking shit down, but I don't know. Penny's weird. There's just like small inconsistencies like that. Like Thor, I don't feel like hits as hard as he should. Captain America, while fun to me, is kind of nutty. I probably just can't play him, but yeah, just run around like a maniac with Captain America.
Spreading freedom.
Say what?
Spreading freedom.
Yeah, spreading freedom wherever I go. Obviously, there's more boring characters, like technically Black Widow, but I mean, her gun kills people. That thing's really good.
Quote of the night.
Yeah.
Your gun kills people.
Yeah, like kills people significantly faster than, like Iron Fist punching someone or the Hulk punching someone. Weirdly enough, 50 caliber is stronger than a Hulk punch to the face. But and like there's just small things like that, and like stuff like sometimes when even though the game is third person, I weirdly enough, unless a melee character is hitting me in the front, sometimes I'll just die and I don't understand what killed me, and then I watched the kill cam and there's like Magic or Iron Fist or someone was like to my side or behind me and I didn't even know it. Like, and you have a decent view around your character. I should at least see someone punching me in the side of the head, but I just don't see anything. And I'm just like, that's kind of bad. I don't understand where I'm getting hit from. The hit feedback and stuff like that is pretty good. I think that's there's not a whole lot of negatives to the game, I think, but there's just small inconsistencies in some characters I didn't care, like their design I didn't care for, and the balancing issues, like I said. But all the healers seem balanced more or less. All the DPS kind of seem balanced. There's a couple that get left in the dust, like Storm, but the tanks are pretty all around good. Except I just feel like dive tanks are a bit weaker because they need a better team comp to support them than just like what you would consider a standard tank.
Yeah, so
like I feel like Thor needs to have his team up ability with Hela in order to be good.
Yeah, so that definitely falls into my final question I got everybody is, so what improvements or additions would you like to see in future updates for this game?
Oh. Well, aside from what I said, how would I improve those things? Like a Jeff the Shark's ult, I guess like you can't really take away how it functions because I don't want them to go Overwatch's route and just start changing everything about a certain character to where like Torbjorn doesn't even play like how he used to at launch.
I would don't balance it like Paladins because they just add a character to make up for some other broken bullshit, which ends up breaking everything else.
Well, I just want them to do what Titanfall does. It's just like just make everything broken, then nothing's broken. Just make buff things. Just keep buffing things. Don't nerf anything. Just buff things. Don't take away shit that makes things that people like. Just add stuff to make shit better. But like how I fix Jeff the Landshark's ult, instead of I would just make it to where it can't, obviously, number one, can't eat people that are flying above the ground. That is really ridiculous. Number two, give it like another half second before it activates, because for some characters, if you get right underneath them, like Mantis or like any other character that doesn't have any movement ability, you're just fucked. And it doesn't feel good when you're just screwed. There's literally nothing you could do about it. I would just do like a small tweak like that. Venoms, unfortunately, I don't want to, like I just said, I don't want to change things that are fundamental about the character. If I could wave a magic wand and just make him bite people, I would. But as he is now, I don't know. Maybe widen the tentacle attack or make it like a slapping thing or something, like a cleave in front of him or something like that. Maybe I don't know. I just don't like how it's a pinprick attack. It's just weird.
It kind of attacks like like Octopus would actually attack.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
That.
Yeah,
it's not violent enough for.
Yeah,
Venom.
I'd want him to bite people. Like he has a melee attack where he claws and bites people. That's what his basic attack should be. Is just him clawing and biting people.
He turns into a giant mouth in Marvel vs. Capcom.
Well, that's what he does. His ult, he turns into like a giant fucking mouth and just bites people with his ultimate. But like, I guess that's how I fix it. Is maybe just change the animation and how it functions. I guess. Stuff like Thor, I guess, just needs to either do more damage or have more defensive abilities. Maybe I'm just not good enough with Thor. To me, it didn't feel very nice to play. I honestly don't think the healing needs any work. I do think some healers either need better CC or something, because I like playing Luna Snow. She has great healing, but if someone dives on me, my one ticket out of jail is her ice ball attack, and it is so goddamn precise to hit that if I fuck it, and granted, it's like, oh, should I just have something for free? No, not necessarily, but compared to Rocket Raccoon, like Luna Snow, I have to hit that ice ball, and it's very small and very precise. If I don't hit it, I'm just fucked. Rocket Raccoon, someone jumps on me, I just rocket away. I can climb up a wall infinitely and just run away. Like, it is so much easier to get away from someone with Rocket than it is with Luna. Mantis even, like, she can't run up walls, but her like sleep ability is like an AoE that you just throw at your feet and run away. Luna Snow it does like, if I feel like someone jumps on me and I'm playing Luna, I'm just dead. unless someone helps me. So I would give either her like a bigger radius on her stun attack or something. As far as DP, like Storm, make her attacks AoE. Like, just they have like a burst of AoE damage, even if it's only an activated ability. Like, she doesn't have it constantly like Tony does. Just her attacks need to be way more AoE, or because she has like a Lucio thing going on where Storm has like this constant circle around her that she can switch between movement speed and damage boost. Make it to where if you activate something, it turns into like a DPS field where if she's hovering above enemies or something, it does damage or something. Like, she just needs more AoE attacks, and I feel like she'd be a bit better. Everyone else I think is pretty fine. I mean, Black Widow doesn't need anything. She only has like 2 abilities, but that's all she needs really. She's just that kind of character. I heard people crying about Iron Fist, but I mean, I think that's probably only for really high level players, because I haven't really found a problem with Iron Fist or even Spider-Man. That's one thing actually I forgot. Spider-Man's ultimate ability, God, that thing's fucking overpowered. It's picture Reaper's ultimate from Overwatch, where he just makes this damaging field around him and it does a shit ton of damage in a short amount of time. But picture more damage in a shorter amount of time. Like, if Spidey ults on top of you and you don't immediately have something to save yourself, you're just screwed because of how much damage he does and how wide of a radius it is. Just little, like, the damage can stay the same, but don't make me die in half a second. Like spread out the damage over a longer period of time or something like that. I know I just talked about a nerf, but if wave my wand, everyone else gets more health, I guess, or just something that makes it to where I can see him out of it.
At least his is damage. Scarlet Witch is like instant death, no matter what.
It is instant death, but even though it's kind of the same thing with Diva's ultimate, right? Because when you play Overwatch again in the early days, Diva Bomb would just kill the entire team because no one has idea what the fuck they're doing. But nowadays, that's how it was the first day of playing Scarlet Witch. She was just nuking every team every time she ulted. But now that everyone kind of knows how to play the game, I've seen her ult do not nearly as well anymore because people are just like, oh, I just run away and run behind a wall or just get behind a shield or something like that, and it does nothing. So I don't really consider it that big of a deal anymore. It can stay the same. It just, you need to be creative about it to use it well. Hela's ultimate kind of weird because she can do giant AoE damage, but she gets a fuck ton of health when she's in her ultimate form. I'd rather that than just be instantly killed like a Pharah ult, because Pharah ulting in Overwatch is basically just the please kill me button.
Bucky's ult is wild because you can just keep doing it as long as somebody is dead. If you kill somebody with it, it fills back up and you do it again. Yeah, again. I mean, I'm fine with that though, because it's skill based. If you keep killing people, why not give it to them? I don't care. Yeah.
It's rewarding. But I mean, I guess I would just ult all or buffs all around. I would want, if you were going to nerf characters, it just needs to be really teeny tiny nerfs. Like I said, just like timings on stuff. Or like I said, if it can't nerf anything, just buff everyone that needs buffs, and then everyone that isn't going to be nerfed can just stay the same. But that's what I would do, anyways.
I don't have a lot of gripes outside of the getting caught by Jeff, which is just funny to say.
My name's Jeff.
It's just like a guy like at the Dollar General chasing me through the parking lot.
My name's Jeff. Ow.
But like for me, it's I don't know, this one or the first one. I'll say I'm kind of like yay or nay on it. But like when you destroy the environment, it comes back, and it's like I could see that it keeps the level kind of dynamic as you go. And it's like, well, if I destroyed it, maybe it should change the level permanently. But then you might have the battlefield situation where everybody breaks the level just because they want to get to that other part first because they like playing on that more. And then everyone's just running around shooting at the architecture instead of each other. So I don't know. I'm on the fence of like just leave the damage that's been done. But another one that's also kind of like, I don't think it's needed, but I think it would feel better is increasing movement speed of all characters. Because I feel like the initial walk up to the field is like so damn slow. And I know it depends on the character you're playing as, because Captain America has like a sprint ability, but it's like after playing every game that I've been playing, Wukong and other like platformers and stuff where the characters are moving pretty quick, I'm just like, go, please get there.
How about you?
Ed?
Yeah. you
So there is there are like some few things more specifically for Doctor Strange. I feel like his basic shooting attack should be just a little bit faster because it's like he has to be pretty close up for his attacks to like not be seen and easily dodged. Because his only other ability, because his portal has a 2 minute cooldown. Actually, I think it's 200 seconds, so like three or so minutes. It's just like his only other things after using the portal is just the AOE, and his shield. But his AOE is completely based off his damage that he does, but his bullets are like way too slow to like fairly hit anyone, even at the current movement speed. Because he could just walk to the side very easily, and his fire rate is also very slow.
Good. Lead your shots. It's a shotgun kind of attack, and also it pierces.
Really. It's just like a spiral.
No. I mean, it's when I mean a shotgun, it's multiple projectiles in like a radius, and also it pierces. So firing it like at the tank, it pierces. If you shoot it at a bunch of enemies, you hit all of them. Like I've been getting much better at it, and I can charge that AOE attack very easily now, especially if you spam it into the other tank's face. Like you charge that shit so fast, it's not even funny.
Okay, well, I guess I haven't been playing that. I haven't been playing that long, but I would say like Black Panther. As like I haven't played him too much. His abilities like charge fairly quickly, and I know one does instantly with the Predator mark. But like some of them are just a tad long because like somewhat movement speed. Loki's invisibility, like there's a kind of little confusing thing that I have with some of these characters' abilities is the intangibility versus the invisibility. Because Loki's like he can still be shot out of his, but he's not any faster in it. So it's just I don't know. It's just more of a personal thing. It's like I can go invisible, but I'm not really sure to what end because if I'm going to be shot out of it anyway in the battlefield from a stray shot, then it's just going to knock me out of it. And that along with the fact that he can also teleport to any of his other clones, I was like, I'm not really sure what the point between having both of those on the exact same character.
The point is to teleport to one of your clones and then go invisible, because you teleport to the clones, no one's going to be shooting at you, and the point of invisibility is you're invisible, so you can just leave. Like you don't need a speed boost to be invisible. Like that's kind of what you're supposed. If you use the invisibility, like I learned playing Loki, yes, that happens a lot. If you use it while people are shooting at you, a lot of the time they're just going to hit you out of it. But that's kind of the reason you're supposed to switch and then use it, because that really makes people lose track of you like instantly.
I guess I still have the Overwatch mentality where like if you're invisible, you have the
Overwatch.
Huh?
Nothing.
I know you have more hours than me, but it's like I've recently played Overwatch before playing Marvel Rivals, so it's just I still have that kind of mentality with I don't even remember what her name is, the
Sombra.
Yeah, Sombra, where she goes invisible and she has a speed boost only during that, but she can also be knocked out of it.
Poor character keeps getting dissected, nerfed, dissected, changed, nerfed, dissected, changed, nerfed. She's nothing like how she was when she first released.
I mean, it's like this is still like within like the first week of it, so it's like people are still learning. Me, obviously, as you're telling me all this, but it's like when you compare it to like the first week of Overwatch, this is still much more balanced, and I really hope it doesn't fall in the same maintenance hole that Overwatch does, where there's an update every fucking week to like balance change or just fix something in general. So
yeah, as soon as it's being balanced around like the competitive scene or anything like that, and everything starts getting nerfed, or I see only Spider-Man and Iron Fist getting buffs, and characters like Rocket, and like basically the easy characters get nerfed and the hard characters get buffed because people cry and bitch about shit, I'm out. I'm done. I'm not going through this again. As of right now, it's fine. I'm excited to see where it's going to go, but I am very, very. I have the cord and the knife right next to it that I'm ready to cut as soon as shit goes wrong. I'm just like, I'm not sitting through this pain again.
Yeah, I mean, only for me, only because I haven't played as everybody, so I'm still trying to get there. Like I tried to give it a shot, but it was just there's so many people to pick and trying to get through. But the only one that I played the most was Venom, and I was only noticing is that, you know, seeing Jeff doing his nice bite you move and killing everybody with his special, I'd be doing the same thing with Venom's bite, and it would not kill everybody. It would just be a hit, and it wouldn't even be enough to do the damage, which was kind of disappointing to me, because I was, you know, I'm a big dude. I want to be able to hit the people, because if I can only do it one time, I want it to be a one-hit wonder rather than I did some damage, but yeah, I still got to work on you. Versus, you know, Punisher gets his Gatling guns and he just gets a whole shitload of time to just shoot as many rounds as he wants to take out a whole fucking fleet of people if he wants. And I get that there's some differences between the two. I would have liked that Venom would do more damage on his special, since that's basically all I know of.
Well, I mean, the difference is that Venom is a tank and Punisher is a DPS. Like the point of tanks is that you are able to kill people, but your purpose isn't to kill people. The purpose is to get shot at. And Venom's thing, while not doing a lot of damage, the purpose of it is to keep you alive, because depending on how many people you bite, you get, I think it's either extra health or a shield or something. Either way, you become harder. Yeah, so you just become harder to kill. So it's just unfortunate. It's just, if you're playing Venom in this game wanting to kill people, that's unfortunate, because you're not going to unless you become a god at the character. Your purpose is to get shot at.
So is Jeff a tank as well, or is he?
No, Jeff is a support.
He's a support.
He heals people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, his blend is more
He has
deadly
2
than
moves,
Venom.
I think.
Well, Jeff actually has quite a few moves, and he's actually more complicated than I actually gave him credit for, because Jeff has like what I would consider a healing flamethrower, because his heal is like this stream of water he shoots from his mouth that heals people, but also he can shoot little bubbles that he can place around the map that your allies can walk into, and they burst and they heal, and they'll knock back enemies if they're near it. And he basically can swim in the ground anywhere he is, and when he's doing that, he heals himself and becomes a much smaller target. And he can wall climb while he's in that mode. And he also has like his projectile that's not healing is like shooting like water bursts at people that are like little AoE things that travel really far.
He's a water god.
Kind of. And then his ult
like
is that he can either eat people or his allies, and either kill enemies by throwing them off of a ledge, or saving an ally by eating them and throwing them away from the fight or something.
Wow. No, that's a lot for.
Like I honestly would say, I would honestly say Rocket Raccoon is an easier and less complex character than Jeff is. Jeff actually has some complexity to the character.
Damn. Well, since we got through all those topics, let's go ahead and jump into some trivia. So, question number 1. Which of the following games recently launched with a remastered version that allows seamless switching between original and updated graphics? Is it A, Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver 1 and 2 Remastered, B, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Rita's Rewind, C, Path of Exile 2, or D, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle?
A.
I did not hear Master Chief Collection, so I don't know.
You said recent, though, so like it wouldn't be that. It came out
It's
a while
recent
ago.
to me.
It's recent in my heart.
Yeah.
Yes.
A, because I want that game.
The answer was A. All right, question number 2. In question number 2, in Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, what time period does the story take place in? Is it A, between the Last Crusade and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull? B, between Raiders of the Lost Ark and the Last Crusade? C, before Raiders of the Lost Ark? Or D, after the Last Crusade?
I don't fucking know anything about
I want
Indiana.
to say B.
I choose E. I've never watched Indiana Jones.
What? I have all of them, except for the bad ones.
Me.
Don't you put me. Pick one.
I said B.
Okay.
Is it B?
Okay, answer was B.
Yes!
Jeez. Keep watching.
I am the ultimate
films.
Indiana Jones fan.
Yeah. All right, so the third and final question. Question number 3. Path of Exile 2 offers which new feature for console players during early access? Is it A, a supporter pack purchase requirement, B, couch co-op functionality, C, mod support for custom content, or D, a roguelike dungeon system?
This is for what game?
Exile 2.
Path of
I'll just
Exile
say
2.
D.
I want to say B again. The couch co-op.
Sure.
Jesus, yes, it was B.
3 for 3. You're welcome, Udon.
I don't give two shits about any of those things that were just said.
You don't. These are arbitrary points. They matter.
Who's keeping count, though?
All of these
Somebody
games I
needs
do
to.
not care about. You can tell me the Indiana Jones game is the best thing on the market right now, and I just shrug and say, "Cool story, bro. I'm gonna go play something else."
I've seen cutscenes of Indiana Jones, and my God, they have the reflexes of a statue.
Way
All
to
of them.
strike when the iron's hot on that fucking IP. All right, like I
Hey.
don't know anyone who gives two fucking shits about Indiana Jones nowadays.
The only Indiana Jones game that I own is the one on regular Nintendo, and I think it's Temple of Doom or something like that. It's the black cart for NES, and I don't think I've seen an Indiana Jones game since. I'm
The
not
only
going to
one I
go
have
out
is
there
Lego.
and buy one right now. Well, yeah, I guess that's probably the most fun one because it's Legos.
Well, IGN scored it like a 9 out of 10, so it's probably terrible.
Yeah, well, the thing is like people have said things like it's fun or whatever, but I don't know. I wasn't really appealed. It wasn't appealing to me. I know it's Indiana Jones. I kind of wanted to not be Harrison Ford because it could have been like a new kind of like I don't know. It's just they're live scanning actors. The Game Awards just announced a Game of Thrones game, and I thought it was going to be cool. And then Jon Snow shows up, and I was like, what? And then all these characters from the show is in it. And I was like, oh, well, now I'm not really interested because I feel like you paid all of them a lot of money for their voice and likeness, so they're never going to die. And, you know, it's whatever. But yeah, blah.
Wait.
End it.
Who's playing the Red Hulk? Isn't also Harrison Ford?
Yeah, it's Indiana Ford.
Oh my God!
Indiana Hulk.
Indiana Hulk.
You better, yeah, it belongs in a museum. Or
Hulk
else.
Solo.
You belong in a museum.
Yeah, Hulk Solo Jones.
All right.
Anyway, playing Marvel Rivals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they'll add Hulk Solo Jones to Rivals.
All right. Well, I guess we'll be wrapping it up. Be sure to follow us on Spotify, Twitter, and YouTube channel. Be notified of new episodes. Rate us 5 stars if you enjoyed today's episode. And don't forget to subscribe on our YouTube channel. And for all you gamers out there, just remember to keep exploring, keep playing, and keep listening. Until next time, this is the Mediocre Rumble Brothers podcast signing off. Thanks for listening.
I need healing.
Red Hulk would probably.
Hey, this is Corey, and thanks for checking out Mediocre Rumble Brothers. If you liked the video, please drop a like, and if you didn't, that's fine too. If you'd like us to talk about any specific games, drop a comment below, or feel free to discuss your experience with the games that we've mentioned in the episode. You can also listen to our episodes prior to YouTube on our Spotify. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you again soon.